Season 1, Episode 4 of ConkCast, Crunch Time, Jimmy Miller to the Rescue. Some of these are longer than others. This one apparently is a little bit longer, but we'll pick up where we left off. All right, we got to the library. This brings us to the books. This brings to mind the old saying, you can't tell a book by its cover. Thus ensued one of the longer bouts. When Grandmother bought the farm, the mansion had no library. Grandmother was a marathon reader and therefore converted one bedroom on the first floor into a library. This room has 3 walls of books. After Grandmother died, I moved into the library. Sleeping and waking up to all those books was maddening. The constant reminder of all the obscure items, the millions of books that all had to be gone through. My dear friend Pam came over and helped me read through and choose from the millions of books that I may want. While leafing through the dusty books in a stuffy room, your fingers turn black, and you can feel your lungs loading up with the same black dust. We 3 took to the library and began by categorizing the books. Once categorized, we'd leaf through and pick our favorites. Then, according to popularity, the books were placed in 3 piles. We used index cards folded up with the numbers 1, 2, and 3, and then the fun began. As with the first round of division, I picked to go last on the popular items. I usually won them, too. My theory is one of fate or karma. I tried to remain cheery, but when I got the favorite, I had to act less than thrilled or else I'd get shit. It wasn't just the reading of the books before the drawing that made this task too long, but the reading of the books after you got them. Once they're yours, you've got your whole life to read them. Let's continue. There were books on furniture, antiques, glassware, a Time Life series on recipes, travel books on all parts of the world, ceramics, poetry, paintings, a biblical series, the Harvard classics, novels, and more novels, how-to books like How to Grab Your Man and Hold Him, How to Eat Right and Keep Fit. The list goes on and on. We all agreed on the books no one wanted. It was a long, drawn-out process. It was very dry in the library, so we drank beer. Lisa and I did. Claudia doesn't drink beer. After I finished my beer, I used it as a spittoon to get rid of the pages of dust in my lungs. It was a good quarter filled when I realized how thirsty I was, and I grabbed the bottle, and before I realized what I was doing, I had all this gross stuff in my mouth. I spit it all back quickly and neatly into the bottle and proceeded to gag for the next 45 minutes. Lisa and Claudia thought this was great fun. I must say it did lighten things up, and we all laughed harder than ever. I felt sick, but we kept going. The rest was uneventful. I obtained most of the children's books. Claudia got an art series of some sort, and Lisa got most of the poetry. When it was all through, we each had about 10 boxes of books to add to our collection. Lisa already took all Grandmother's gardening books, numbering 40 boxes, plus all the astrology books, about 5 more boxes. The plan was to rent out the main house for a good price over the summer. So before we could rent, we wanted all the books out and all the stealables boxed away. It was a mass effort, and it was done in 2 weeks, 22 rooms cleaned out and boxed up, leaving only the minimum. We divided up the glass, and by that time we had 2 days before the tenants moved in. We called in the troops. Annie came by and helped me wrap up all the china and dishes in the dining room. All boxes were marked CLC, go through. We tried to divide as much as we could, but when it came down to 2 days left, we had no other choice than to pack up the remains. After the big fight, Lisa called her asshole boyfriend Jimmy Miller, a big rock and roll producer. He produced the Rolling Stones album Sticky Fingers. He drove out from Manhattan to save Lisa from her horrible sisters. Well, he came around 5 o'clock and he took her away. We still had to get everything out of the house by tomorrow. Claudia and I were busy wrapping and packing, along with Claude's friend Frank and his brother, and Annie and her sister. We had everyone chip in, but where was Lisa? Not helping. Everyone left except Claudia and me. Lisa still had not come back. Claudia and I were beginning to curse her out. We were always pulling her weight. We worked steadily through the night. The adrenaline was flowing. I'm not one to stay up late, but we hadn't much time left, and I wanted everything set. 3 a.m. and still no Lisa. The phone rings. Guess who? Jimmy Miller. He's telling us that Lisa is in jail, and if we really loved her, we would come and get her out. Holy shit. Here we are a day and a half from D-Day, and Lisa isn't helping. She's in jail. Jimmy came out to protect her, and now she's in jail. Good work, Jim. Well, we were both exhausted and called the 6th Precinct for more accurate information. Yes, Elizabeth Nostrand is here, but no bail is posted. She'll have to stay overnight. What did she do? We can't tell you that. She's my sister, and I want to get her out. Sorry, not till tomorrow. So we decided our effort would be fruitless, so we continued our chore. Jimmy calls back. Where the hell are you? She needs you. Come get her. Boy, with sisters like you, who needs enemies? Stuff it, Jim. With a boyfriend like you end up in jail. You got her in, you get her out. We drove over anyway. They wouldn't let her out, and they wouldn't let us to see her. They were nasty to us. I said, listen, I'm concerned and worried, or I wouldn't be here. If you want to see her fiancé, he's at the saloon next door. No, thanks. He's a bigger idiot than she is. You're right about that, he said, and we split. What happened was, Lisa and Jimmy went to the Printer's Devil for dinner. Lisa left her bag in the car. It was raining, and when they arrived, her feet were wet. So she took off her wet black Chinese shoes and went to the car. While she was outside, some big man said she wasn't wearing shoes and they had to leave. Jim, I'm sure, said something foul like, fuck you, she is so. And when Lisa came back inside, she saw this big man sitting on Jimmy's small chest with a fist ready to punch. Lisa pushed the man off Jim, and he, in return, pulled Lisa's hair and punched her in the head. Lisa's shocked reaction was to bite, and bite she did. The next thing you know, the cops were there putting handcuffs on Lisa. Why not Jimmy? He started it. They took her off to the 6th Precinct and booked her on assault. The guy she bit was the ex-DA for Suffolk County, and he pressed charges. While in the cell, the matron asked Lisa for her jewelry. She gave her necklace, but didn't want to give her bracelet. She figured she couldn't kill herself with a bracelet anyway. When Lisa refused, the matron threw her cuffed and headfirst into the cement wall, whereupon Lisa kicked her in the nose and, according to the matron's hospital report, broke it. Another charge of assault, this time on a cop. The next day, bail was posted. They set it at $75, all the money Jimmy had on him. Lisa needed a lawyer, and in her search, she kept getting turned down because everyone knew the ex-DA and didn't want to go against him. Finally, I suggested a female attorney who had just set up in Centerport. We went there, and her associates seemed supportive. Everything was moving as smooth as you could expect until the matron, with the help from backing of the entire Suffolk County police force, raised the assault from misdemeanor to a felony. At this point, the lawyer said she could no longer represent Lisa and brought in another attorney. I didn't really like him from the start, but we should have attained another one. Time was moving, and Lisa ended up paying a fine and established a criminal record. Too bad she just didn't stick to the task at hand. All right, that's the end of that chapter, and next would be Series 1, Episode 5, Dividing Continues, There's a Thief Among Us.